What's up everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to have a look at my team selection for Game Week 4. What is up everyone, welcome back to another video. So today we're going to have a look at my Game Week 4 team selection. If you are interested in how I got on in Game Week 3, how my season is going so far, everything like that, and you haven't watched my videos from last week, I reviewed my season so far, my Game Week 3 team, everything like that, and my first thoughts ahead of Game Week 4 last week in my first team selection. So go and check that out, but this is going to cut straight to the bits that we are all interested in, which is my Game Week 4 team selection, my captaincy, my vice captaincy, transfers if I've made any so far, or my transfer plans and thoughts ahead of the Game Week 4 deadline, which comes on Saturday morning. There will be streams on both Thursday evening, this evening, and on Saturday morning, a deadline stream to get any of your questions answered live. So do make sure you are subscribed and ready for when those videos do come. But let's dive straight into those predicted transfers, who I'm going to take out and who I'm going to bring in. So I do think that Danny Ings and Bruno Fernandes will be the two players that I take out as part of a -4 hit this week. Danny Ings has been quite fortunate to get the returns he's had so far this season, and Bruno Fernandes, now that Ronaldo has come into that Manchester United team, we do think that there will be a little bit of a decrease in the amount of returns that Fernandes gets. Now I don't necessarily think he's a bad option to do straight away. I don't think you have to sell him this week. However, I do want to sell Danny Ings this week, and going up to Ronaldo seems like the obvious move. I could do Ings to Calvert-Lewin as a straight swap, but I do think that doing Fernandes to Ronaldo is also a good move, and there are some nice cheap midfield options that I could replace as well. So that's why I think a -4 this week is probably the way that I'm going to go. In their replace, Ronaldo will come in, so the whole point of this double move is to get Ronaldo in for that Newcastle fixture in Game Week 4 that I'm sure pretty much everyone, or 90% of the people watching this video, are planning on doing the same. Likely to be my captain, or maybe not, which we'll get to at the end of the video. And we'll also be talking about which cheap midfielder I plan on bringing in the replace of Bruno Fernandes in order to fund that Danny Ings up to Cristiano Ronaldo move. In terms of my team selection, everything like that, first of all, in goal is Sanchez of Brighton. Of course, he's there each and every game week for me, my set and forget goalkeeper. He does have Brentford away in Game Week 4. They haven't looked that great attacking wise. Brentford, they scored twice in Game Week 1. They've had some good games, some bad games. I do think there's a chance of a clean sheet. Brighton, again, have been mixed from a defensive point of view, only keeping one clean sheet. So again, I'm not quite sure how this game was going to go, particularly the fact that Brighton are away. I don't necessarily fancy a clean sheet for Brighton, but of course, he's my only goalkeeper, so I will be starting him this week. Into the defence, the first one we have is Luke Shaw, who has Newcastle at home. Now, Shaw is in one of the most transferred out players. If you haven't seen my transfer targets video, I spoke a little bit about this. I don't understand why Shaw has been sold by so many people. Newcastle at home this week. He's now playing with Cristiano Ronaldo in the box, so both he's got clean sheet potential, as he did keep a clean sheet in Game Week 3. But crossing the ball into the box with Ronaldo's area ability, I do think there are assists to come for Luke Shaw in the upcoming game week, so he's definitely in my team and starting for me this week. Next up, we have Trent Alexander-Arnold in my starting 11. So he has Leeds away. Now, Leeds have not quite performed from a perspective of last season as we thought they might so far this season. However, at home, they were always better than they were away. So I do think there's a good chance that Leeds score. However, there is always that talk about whether Rafinha will be available for selection, which I do think impacts their attacking output quite a bit. So Trent, of course, starts. There's good attacking threat from him. If he gets a clean sheet on top of that, it is a bit of a bonus given the fixture. But of course, Trent to combine with Shaw is a great start to my defence. Now, next in my defence, we have Ben White of Arsenal. Now, Arsenal sit bottom of the league, and it is, of course, you're all thinking, oh, why has he got Ben White in his team? They've conceded 9 goals, scored 0 goals, but White's been injured for both game weeks 2 and 3, as has Gabriel for the whole season. But during the international break, these two have been building up their recovery. They look set to start in Game Week 4, and they are playing at home against Norwich. I do expect a bit of a bounce back for Arsenal for them to win this game, and let's hope that they can keep a clean sheet while they do it. Into the midfield, the first one, which we will get to in a minute, is this mystery midfielder. I will need to downgrade Bruno Fernandes in order to be able to fund Ronaldo. I do have 7.6 million in order to do it. Now, the first one that jumps out to me, of course, is Diogo Giotto. If you are thinking of similar moves, just go to Giotto. I think with Firmino potentially out, Giotto is by far the best pick. However, I have Tsimikas sat on my bench, and with Salah also being in my midfield, I can't get Giotto in unless I take a -8 to sell Tsimikas on my bench, which I just don't think is worth it. So I'm having to look elsewhere. I also already own Mason Greenwood, so again, it restricts the amount of players I can potentially pick. We'll get into all the detail of them in just a minute, but if you are thinking of a cheap midfielders to get and you can afford Diego Giotto or Mason Greenwood, those are the two that I would be going with Giotto being my number one pick. Elsewhere on my midfield, as I said, Salah in there leads away. He is just Mr. Consistent. He's of course going to stay in my team practically all season as long as he's fit and available for selection. Leeds away. Leeds have been good defensively last season, particularly at home, but this season they haven't been quite as good as maybe we'd expect. So let's hope Salah can get something and continue on the run of form that he's shown so far this season. Next up, Benaram, who I brought in last week, so he's actually only played 1 week for me. He's been so good, but I've only ever had a blank out of him. He is away at Southampton. He has had a bit of a rest over the international break with a bit of international duty as well. Let's hope for some attacking returns. Let's get those points that everyone seems to be getting that I haven't had from Benaram yet. West Ham will continue to score goals, I'm sure, and Southampton haven't been that great defensively so far this season. So Benaram comes into my starting 11, of course, Southampton away. Now, to complete my midfield at the moment, we have Mason Greenwood, so I spoke just about him then as a potential replacement if you are downgrading Bruno Fernandes. I can't see how they drop him. He has been their star man. He's picked them up practically 4 points with an equaliser and a winner in both game weeks 2 and game weeks 3. They have a lovely fixture at home to Newcastle. He's completely rested over the international break, so I just can't see how he gets dropped. He's in there, and let's hope for some continued points, although his ownership is going up and up. He's less of a differential than when I picked him at the very start of game week 1. Into the forward line, Antonio is in there to combine with Benaram. So this duo have been so good. They've scored so many points. They're one of the best deciding factors on how well you've started this season. If you've had Benaram and Antonio in your team, you have done well this season so far. I only started with Antonio and have brought Benaram in, but let's hope against Southampton for some more of those Benaram assist, Antonio goal, or vice versa points to come in for me, and hopefully anyone else out there who owns the both of them. Of course, Ronaldo, one of my transfers in, is going to lead the line for me. Newcastle at home, I think, is a great fixture. Newcastle have looked dreadful defensively so far this season. Apologies, Newcastle fans, but I do think there is a great chance when Ronaldo starts, I do think he's going to start, that Ronaldo gets some good attacking returns in game week 4. He's just that man who you can see scoring a hat-trick in his first game back in front of the fans. He's likely to be a captain for the majority of people playing this game. He's practically broken records for the most transferred in player ever in FPL in a single game week. So he'll be coming into my team for sure, and let's hope that he can get me some points to start the game week well. And finally, we've got Dennis. So a lot of the talk this week for me has been about Dennis versus Rafinha. I've gone with Dennis, who is at home to Wolves, versus Rafinha, who has Liverpool at home. Now, I don't necessarily think Rafinha is a bad option to play this week if you do have him. Now, there is talk about whether he'll be allowed to play or not. It hasn't been confirmed at time of selection whether those Brazilians will be allowed to play or whether they'll have those sanctions imposed on them. But at the moment, I've gone with Dennis anyway. They were great at home in game week 1, Watford, and Dennis was highly involved. They've been worse in game weeks 2 and 3 away from home, but now that they go back to a home fixture in game week 4, I have decided to start him. I do think there's a good chance for some points, with Rafinha being ready to come off first on my bench in case anything happens. In terms of captaincy and vice-captaincy, at the moment my vice-captaincy is on Salah. He's so consistent. He's often going to be my captain, if not my vice-captain, each and every week. He's so reliable with the points. He's looked so good so far this season. Has had a good rest over the international break as well. So he could be a good captaincy option as well. I'm sure a lot of people will go with him. If you're not going Ronaldo, I think Salah is a great pick as well. And up front, of course, Cristiano Ronaldo. If I'm bringing him in, I think he's going to start. He's going to be my captain. Likely to be on penalties, as I've already spoken about in his first fixture. They'll want him to hit the ground running. I can't see him not scoring. Maybe it will go horribly wrong for all of us, but Ronaldo, for me, is the number one captaincy option for game week 4, and I'm sure a lot of you are captaining him as well. If you are captaining Ronaldo or anyone else, drop it in the comments down below. Let me know your transfers or anything like that. But let's dive into who this mystery midfielder could be for my game week 4 team selection to downgrade Bruno Fernandes in order to fund Cristiano Ronaldo. So, in terms of those Bruno Fernandes replacements, the first one we're going to talk about is Mason Mount. So Chelsea have looked great so far this season, picking up 7 points from their first 3 games with 2 wins and a draw. They play Aston Villa at home in game week 4. He is 7.6 million and he is on set pieces. He has great assist potential. However, after that, Chelsea do go on to play Tottenham and Manchester City, so I'm not quite sure how explosive Mount could be, but he's definitely worth considering because Chelsea have a great run of fixtures from game week 7. He is just ticking along the points nicely with assist after assist. He's going to be starting most games, probably the most nailed Chelsea midfielder that you could pick, the most nailed Chelsea attacker that you could get outside of Lukaku, who is very expensive at 11.5. So I do think Mount is definitely worth considering. The next option we've got is Watford's talisman, Ismaila Sarr. So they have Watford at home in game week 4 and a very nice run of fixtures to continue that. Game week 5, 6, 7, 8, and he's only 6 million as well. He plays right mid or right wing and is on penalties for them as well. Everything they do from an attacking point of view does go through Sarr. If they do score 2 or 3 goals, there's a great chance that Sarr is going to get a goal and assist and be highly involved. So with this nice run of fixtures and the cheap price, I think he's definitely one that I'm considering buying. Next up is Pepe. Now, don't laugh. Quit the laughter already. I can hear all of you through the screen going, haha, he's thinking of picking another Arsenal player. You've already got Ben White in your team. Why are you picking Pepe? Now, Norwich have conceded 3 goals and 4 assists down their left-hand side from the opponent's right midfielder so far this season. So with that in mind, I think there's a good chance with Pepe starting on that right-hand side that he could get a good few points in game week 4. Now, if it doesn't work out and he doesn't get those points, I can always start Dennis in my team and Rafinha for the next few weeks. He's already dropped in price quite a few times, so his ownership is very low. It is just a bit of a differential that I could go with for game week 4, given that fixture and given how weak Norwich have been defensively. Next up, we have Damari Gray, so 5.6 million, the cheapest one we have on this list. He's looked great, 2 goals in the first 3. He is playing on that left-hand side, whipping the ball into the box, being very direct, taking shots as well. He's drastically overperformed his expected points, so he's scored goals that maybe he wasn't expected to do. Burnley at home in game week 4 is a really nice fixture, and they have a great run of fixtures all the way up to game week 10, so another one that I'm considering. Next up, Adama Traore, the Mr. Underperformer himself. He's had the highest expected points compared to the actual number of points. He's the biggest underachiever out of any player in FPL so far this season. They have a nice run of fixtures though, starting in game week 4, including Watford away this week. 6 million, the same price as Sarr, so picking between them is quite difficult. But he's definitely on my watch list, one that I'm considering owning and is for sure getting the chances in front of goal. The question is he able to finish them? The final one is Ferran Torres of Manchester City. Now, he has played great so far this season. He is playing up front for them. He's 7.1 million, Leicester away in game week 4. However, he has played 3 matches over international duty. They do also have a Champions League match between game weeks 4 and game week 5, which means I think there's a chance that he is benched in one of the next 2 game weeks, which is putting me off. So at the moment, these are the 6 players that I'm considering as my Bruno Fernandes replacement. Of course, as I mentioned, Diego Giotto, Mason Greenwood would probably go above all of these if you don't own them already, and you can get them. At the moment, the ones I'm probably considering going is Pepe, Sarr or Traore are the 3 that are top of my list at the moment. Mount just not explosive enough with the fixtures. Gray, I just think, is he going to be able to continue the form that he's shown? And Torres is that rotation risk. So these are the 3 that I'm going with. I haven't decided yet. I will put a post out when I decide. I will be discussing it on all my streams as well between now and the game week 4 deadline. Haven't decided, but that is my current thinking. If you have enjoyed this video, please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel with those notifications because there are live streams coming this week. Next week, we are back to the full content schedule for you all to get you the best rank you possibly can this season. So if you have enjoyed, please do like and subscribe, turn on notifications, and I will see you all very soon.